Hello. This is Letters to Johan 227. This one's called The Next Opposite. Dear Johan, I don't quite understand, but opposites are relative and contextual. I keep stalling out on the next opposite. I don't know what it means, but my brain keeps repeating it. That feels so good. Symmetry and sequence. Two things I eschew. The best way to eschew is to embrace. Blech. I can say yes when I feel no, and vice versa. Irony is in my authenticity, so I'm free. The next step is surrender. I'm with ALIFTIMTS and it's our last night. I just talked to James about kicking a participant out of our last immersion in Charlotte. I was feeling a type of love that I know was including attachment with ALIFTIMTS. In response to him grumbling about why this younger guy that lives near us and keeps texting him and asking to hang out, I really relate to him. He feels safe around you. That's special. These are things I said. It's no wonder to me that other guys are chasing him. If he wasn't in the closet, he would be an amazing life partner. We're closer now. We got in a conflict while drunk, and then the younger guy came to the bar we were at. I think he was worried we would be that I would be territorial, but I just related to him. Dude, he totally does that, and you're right. After the kid complained that ALIFTIMTS was always hot and cold. This is our misalignment. He's in the closet. He has a dysmorphia of love. That's an irony, an opposite that I hold. He is totally lovable and has no idea and can't hear anyone assert it. In the quiet, private places where no one is looking, if we don't talk about it, his eyes twinkle like he loves and knows he's loved. We all have some love dysmorphia. It's a para-existential irony that any human in modern society must be able to hold. My job is to not make anyone feel anything. My life purpose is to remember love as the irony shifts the feelings through the whole spectrum and teaches me the infinite ways love can feel. In normal conversation, we humans seem to attempt to proceed together so that when we encounter a misstep in shared reality, we debate the point to attempt to move forward together. You're lovable. He can't hear that. It makes him retract, and I've decided that if I'm to love him, then I can't say that. Or we would have to be very drunk and he would have to demand I tell him what I'm thinking. So I hold that opposite. He's lovable but can't know it. So anytime that debate point comes up, I have to be creative. We can't go down that track that needs him to know he's lovable. I used to think that was the saddest thing on the planet, but now it's just tricky. When my company trains people how to facilitate relatefulness focus sessions, we always have them lead their third or fourth practice session with someone who hasn't done the practice. We want to make sure they understand that getting someone's world or being with someone doesn't mean teaching them how to talk like us. It doesn't require us reminding them to only speak from the moment or to speak to the space in between us. That's our job. We're the ones who have chosen complexity. You can't choose the path for others, and you creates suffering by making people wrong for not choosing it. I'm so enamored with him, and the cost is holding these opposites and moving forward without resentment. My heart cracks just a smidge when I feel our misalignment. My temporary life feels a flare of meaning that feels really sad and nice right there. At the bar tonight, there was a shouting match slash fight. I intervened. ALIFTIMTS sorta did, and then went off on me for getting involved. He said, "You don't know what happened before now." He's right. We're in a dive bar with the propriety of a bathhouse. You get buy one, get one free on drinks if you're wearing underwear only or less. But that dude was escalating after we were sure it was a no go on relationship. I could feel my conversation with James about kicking the guy out of the immersion. We couldn't find a demarcation line of when he needed to be kicked out. We just knew that as soon as he started escalating emotionally, he had to go. In one sense, he was turning up his own pain, and kicking him out was as much for him as it was for anyone. I don't think he did anything objectively wrong. It just wasn't what James and I could handle in a good way with the time that we had. When I stepped into the middle of the argument, one guy who was mostly sober was screaming unendingly at another guy who was the opposite of sober. It flicked my heart. You came in here to a place where people are wasted, and you obviously enforced your boundary when you started walking away. Coming back to upbraid this guy is hurting everything. The yelling man turned his ire on me, and I think that's what made ALIFTIMTS upset. He told me that I can't do that. I looked at ALIFTIMTS and said, "Don't tell me what I can do." In my brain, I thought, you shouldn't need to tell him this. You should just use this moment to own that you're disregarding yourself. He came back again. "No, because then I'll have to protect you." Oh, you're dealing with attachment then too. I'm going to do what I choose to do, and you're going to do what you choose to do. You're right that I might have been wrong to intervene, but that's my lesson to learn. I didn't say, "You don't get a say because we're not attached." Like I can feel, if you don't put a ring on it, in my chest, but I've come to hold that well with him. I'm holding it. He's been telling me, "Michael, you think too much. Michael, you're too deep." I've been holding that too so far. I know I think too much, and I know that I don't have to go deep as much as I do. My peace will probably benefit. But I also know that we're all mirrors, and I've never clapped back to him. You could think more, and your life would be better. You could stop avoiding death, and it would be a boon to all you love. I don't do that. I wouldn't want to do that if we were in a relationship, and I'm certainly not going to do that as his friend that's in love with him. There's an opposite. I can look in the mirror. I could think less. He can't. Won't? Doesn't. I'm holding opposites. I could think less, and I think the perfect amount for me. I'm going to think more sometimes and more elegantly. Sometimes I'm going to think more simply and less. They will support each other. He's not. So now I'm holding my opposites and his lack of holding opposites. I like this song. That guy's hot. Did it switch from happy hour to buy one, get one free yet? Are totally viable conversation turns when I'm holding this many opposites. I dropped it for a second when the kerfuffle happened in the bar. After I calmed a bit and he wouldn't drop it, I just kind of politely said, "Fuck off about that noise." And then he did. And it wasn't weird. We were back to peacefulness 3 minutes later. He dropped another, "You think too much." And I just said, "That's not your business, sweetheart." He looked chastised for a microsecond and then nodded. And then it really looked and felt to me like he just let it go. If I was even more free, I wouldn't have had to say anything. I could have just looked at him like I was an alien and moved on. It's so interesting and difficult to flag these eddies and not take the missteps as reasons to react or act out. I love him. I'm going to love him forever. I don't imagine the future with him. I just don't imagine the future without him either. It really popped something in me. I can feel the love, and my mind is just a little more free and owning that we're not attached. I'm not going to see him for at least 6 months. He might retire and he might not. I tried to plan a rendezvous and he was vague. And I felt a little sad, but now it's relief. I can wander away without attachment. I don't notice any guilt at moving on. I know I'll always love him. We get home to our Airbnb and he made me a bacon, tomato, and cheese sandwich. Then he passed out on my lap. An image of his hairy ass seems to be a desktop icon in my mind for a profound zipped file of love, loving, and unconditional connection. Thank God for this life. First a straight guy, and then a closeted one. The path proceeds, Johan. Mike.